Hi, Jane.
Greetings, everybody.
Hey, Babs.
Greetings. Thanks, Maury. The email just came in now.
You mean after you'd already found another way of setting it up?
I got one from Shannon.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, don't say that.
You can go ahead, Dave.
Thanks, Shannon. All right, folks. Well, welcome to the first of our meetings in like what seems like forever. My name's Dave Morrison. I'm the chair of this. All right. So now, unfortunately, the way this works is that I can no longer see my agenda because I'm now looking at the Zoom. So I don't know how anybody does this. So what do you? Okay, Rob's now pushing buttons. I may disappear here. Rob's still pushing buttons.
Lionel's holding it up for you. That's good.
Lionel, I can't see. I've just got a list of participants. What do you want me to do?
Was it in Thunderbird?
No, because I can't get Thunderbird to work, remember?
Okay.
The hell?
Okay, the first item is committee budget, Dave.
All right, so here's what I want to do, people. So let me just walk through a couple things, first of all. So we have a budget of approximately $20,000 for the current year that we're in, 2021. We made that decision as a group once upon a time to be responsible in the midst of COVID and to tailor it back. And we just picked a number out of midair because we had no idea what expenditures might come up. As we look ahead, and obviously almost nothing has happened thus far for obvious reasons. So when we look ahead, and I'm going to combine these two for a second, there will be some motions to come up under individual topics later. So I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview. As we look ahead to 22 to the 22 budget, I asked all the different groups to look at what they anticipated coming because I became concerned that everybody would want to jump into doing stuff right away, which is normally good, but we needed to figure out how we were going to pay for all that enthusiasm. Basically, everybody got back to me in one form or another. And in the simultaneous to that, I was trying to see if I could find a way of expanding the cap on the reserve fund that we created. Now, you may recall, and I've never understood why it was necessary, nor did I agree with it at the time, but we had a cap put on this reserve fund of $20,000. In the midst of all of this, I learned two things. The good news part of it is that our budget next year in 22 will be restored to its actual number, 37 something or whatever. In addition to that, we've already maxed out our cap on the reserve fund. So we've got 20,000 sitting there. So we have basically $57,000 for 22. Unsure where we were with exactly what was coming in 22 because I think we're in good shape. But my thought was that we should look in to try to preload some of these expenditures. And I sent out an additional memo saying to people, take a look at what we can do to spend the dollars we have in anticipation of what we're going to get next year. And I had checked that with Barry and others, and they all agreed that was a perfectly responsible thing to do. So I put that out there. And in fact, the idea I gave simply to allow people a chance to understand what I was talking about was the idea of pre-ordering buses. If you know there's a group coming and we're gonna have to rent buses for 5 events, then contact the bus company with whom we have great relationships and pre-order the things with the exact dates to be decided later. All this perfect. I mean, this is all kind of recap for the most part. So at this point, that all sounds good. None of these decisions have to be made tonight, but I wanted to tell you that that's where we are. We will not be expanding the cap. We will be attempting to preload off of this year's budget. Each of those need to be passed through like one of these meetings come the fall, because we need to make sure that everyone doesn't get so carried away that we end up overspent. We end up going over the $20,000, right? So we need to make sure that we're on top of that. There are a number of motions coming up later this evening that will deal with those specific issues. Are you following me so far? Okay, I don't know. I can't see anybody, so no one's saying anything to me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Lou.
I don't know.
I can't. The only person I can see is you, and Rob is playing with things, and I have no idea. I have a list of people. I don't see pictures or anything. Doesn't matter.
We can see your beautiful face. That's all that matters, Maury.
Well, there you are. Hello. Your husband's
Oh,
tired.
there's Tina.
Your husband's
Pardon?
tired, and you're going to have the most wonderful stairway. Now, he's nicknamed it the Stairway to Tina's Heaven. So, okay. So let's move on. Tammy, have I covered everything with regard to the budget stuff? Is that clear as mud?
Yeah, so I had 2020 budget, which you kind of went over. Like there's 20,000 in your budget now, and the reserve is 20,000 capped for 2021, and you did the 2022. So
Right.
the next one is the web page one, the Barry.
Okay. So I have a motion. I'm in the chair, so I can't move it. So I'm going to read it. Rob's going to move it because he's sitting beside me. And then someone's going to second it. Yes, someone volunteered to do this on an email I got, but unfortunately, the way this thing is set up, I can't have access to my emails, so I have no idea who volunteered.
This is what COVID has done. My husband now lives at home.
I hate everything to do with all this. All right, so but I still love the people, so it's all good. All right. Be it resolved that International Relations Committee spend an amount not to exceed $3,000 to update and expand our web presence. Okay, that's the motion. Rob is moving it. Do I hear a seconder?
Mark, seconds.
All right, Mark seconds. Good, thank you. Let me explain what that's all about. And I think all of you are aware of it at this point. Not all of you, but so this was born out of necessity. It became apparent that the existing youthambassadors.barry.ca was falling into disrepair. There were all kinds of links that didn't work, and it was out of date, old-fashioned, and it wasn't serving its purpose. So, I mean, quite honestly, it had served its purpose well. There was 22 years worth of stuff there between the two programs. So we started talking about it, and in the end, there's an individual, a young former Globite who's now a student at Queen's University. I have forgiven him that. And he's a brilliant young man named Kieran Biles Ho. And he's done some great work for us, both in Global, as Jamie can attest to. And actually, I hired him to do some stuff for my company as well. Anyway, the concept is, and I'd like to make it clear, that he didn't ask for anything. I mean, I just think it's the responsible thing for us to do to understand that he's a university student with bills to pay. He's going to be doing an enormous amount of work, and that anyone dealing with web design can tell you that it's not what we're suggesting is more an honorarium than a salary. It's our way of thanking him for the time that he's going to spend on it. In that process, so it was my suggestion, not his. In that process, I started thinking about it and talked it over with a number of people, and everyone liked the idea of expanding this from just the youth to being the entire web presence for international. So it will now become the International Partners website. And so Kieran has created a design. I put a call out to the chairs of all the subcommittees to get in touch with him, and he put out a blurb to each of them so that they could start working with him. And he has sent out already a basic design information, the subparts, and all the rest of it. So for the four sister cities, and once again, I don't have it in front of me because it's trapped on my computer that I can't seem to access. But it's basically a historical background, and the programs that have been run in the past. Like, historical background means how it came to be, and our link and our connections there. Types of programs that have been run, either a list or whatever that might include pictures. What our future plans are, testimonials about how wonderful it is, that type of thing. So there are specific buttons that'll be. This will all be on drop-down menus and all the rest of it. So the Youth Ambassadors one and the Global one will function a little bit differently, obviously, because we want to include all the work that they do and the various connections back into the community. So what's happened is, at this point, Kieran is working with me on the overall concept. I'm going to work with the mayor on the front page because we want Jeff to do a kind of a video rah-rah about our international partners and what that's all about. And then he's going to work with Jeff Toole, the program coordinator, and Jamie and myself from the ancient history version of this for Global. He's going to work with Shannon and a herd of other people from the past, including you, Lou, and others with youth ambassadors. If I'm saying, Lou, don't be surprised by that. It's just trying to hook up the past with Shannon, because Shannon's new to this responsibility.
Not a problem.
And then as you start going through it, the various subcommittees will deal with the other stuff that's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions, anyone? Okay, Tammy, I don't know how we take a vote on this in a Zoom.
Just put your hands up.
Wave our hands, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and it would
Yeah, you
help
can
if
get
some people put their video on. Some of the committee members put their videos on. Yeah.
Okay, now I can't see anybody, but I don't have to, so long as Tammy can.
Yep. Okay.
I put our hand up already.
Where?
It's a little hand.
The little hand.
Oh,
Yeah,
I-
I can see it. Yeah.
That's 2 in our picture.
Are we still here?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because Rob's playing, and
Are you
Rob is
there?
playing.
I'm trying to get him into gallery view, and it won't seem to go through gallery view.
Okay. All those in favor, wave your
Yeah.
hands.
Yay.
All right.
Those opposed? None. Good.
Tammy,
Yes.
what was the vote?
It was good. Yeah, everybody went agreed.
Good. Thumbs up.
I think it said 15 said yes.
So somebody's got
Or
to tell me
14.
again.
14 said yes.
Someone's got to tell me again how we have to do this in this manner so that we can actually make sure that it's publicly accessible for anyone that wants to check up on us. I have no idea what that vote was, but okay.
Well,
It's all
because
good.
the meeting's being recorded.
Yeah. So you're good.
And it's better if we keep you in the dark, Maury.
Apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So what the hell's next?
I gotta.
Japan twinning.
Mark?
Okay, so I've got various emails off to different people. Because of the Olympic confusion, it's a bit premature for any firm commitments. I think the first thing they want to do is make sure that the youth program, youth ambassador program part is looked after. That's number one priority for them. And they have to have a council meeting to discuss. My suggestion is to have them come here in 2022, and then we go in 23. That follows the series as we've had over the last number of visits. So I wish I could give you a better update, but right now that's what it is.
So the logic of that is we're back on the same schedule we talked about, where the youth ambassadors would travel to Japan in the summer of 22, and they would come here in the summer of 22.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. So I will update as soon as I get more information, but it's unfortunate, but
Thank you to
you know the
see
process there.
you.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen. But it's
What's happening? Rick, what's going on?
Lou and Rick, you're on. Your mic is on. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I just have a big screen that says Tammy Maynard.
Yeah.
You need to get on gallery view.
Yeah, I can't get him on gallery view for some reason. It's only showing single view or no view. It's because
Is he on his cell phone? Is he on his cell phone?
No, he's on his laptop, but he's going through a web browser, and there's a long story behind it.
Oh,
I have no idea what's going on.
I can't get Zoom installed onto his computer. So
Mark, are we
Yes.
done?
Yep,
Is that it?
youth ambassadors. So
Okay. Shannon?
So that basically, thanks, Mark, for that, because that's kind of where we're going with the youth ambassador. So it was confirmed that obviously this year's out. 2022 is looking for us to go to Japan, and that's for the travel. We'll leave it at that. I am trying to put together an email with Daniel to see if we can start a sort of pen pally style project for the fall, in hopes that that's a seed into moving us into the program for students to come forward, right? So that's sort of the idea there. And just so you know, Dave, I don't know if you know, but I have a meeting tomorrow at 5:30 with Kieran to start the website stuff.
Perfect. And just some background on what we're calling, for lack of a better phrase, this pen pal idea. This actually started with the Japanese. Daniel got in touch with me, God, who knows, 6 months ago, 10 months ago, who the hell knows, and suggested the idea of doing it. But our school system, it just got too confusing about who was in school and out of school and how this might work. So it just never happened. So we're all thinking that next year will be a little more commonsensical, and we'll move forward with then. And Shannon's been taking the lead on that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamie, Global?
We don't have anything confirmed for travel for 2022. I spoke to a superintendent the other day, and they said wait until they'll have better direction in August if it's going to happen towards the end of August. And they said, so hold on for the paperwork till then. I usually submit it at the end of June. In regard to this year, we are doing something with the German group. In fact, tomorrow morning, we're doing a video meet with them. We did kind of a pen pal program with them through Global this year, and the kids connected with one another, and we had them run a little assignment where they did videos, and we're gonna have some prizes tomorrow, and our Canadians will connect with the Germans and the German teachers, and I'm sure we'll commiserate over the 1-0 or 2-0 loss to France the other day. But everything's in a holding pattern right now.
All right, cool. Is there the German plan to come to Canada next March?
Yeah.
Is that tied into your board approval to go there later, or is that? I mean, from our perspective, they're certainly welcome to come, but I'm not sure if it works as a one-way thing in your mind, or is all this premature?
It's still all premature. They don't even have permission to travel yet.
Okay, cool. So as we kind of all expect, there's a little up in the air with all of this. I believe, I don't know who's next. I'm going to guess it's going to be Zweibrücken.
Correct.
There we go. Rob or Jean-Maurice?
Is my voice coming through?
It is.
Yes.
Okay, my camera's not right, so for some reason it's buggered up. German twinning next year, for those of you who may not be aware, is the 25th anniversary of the twinning.
Yep.
And we are in preliminary negotiations with Zweibrücken and, of course, Barrie to see how we can celebrate that humongous event. So we, at the preliminary plans are that we would extend an invitation to the Lord Mayor and 5 additional people to come to Barrie. And in turn, they would issue the same to our mayor and 5 people to go back. This would take place in 2022 because we want to celebrate the 25th in both cities in the proper year. Other than that, I don't think we are planning, we're in preliminary plannings really about what we would do when they get here and what they would do for us when we go there. So it's, that's about the extent of it right now. I'm assuming, Dave, the motion that I had sent to you will come up later.
Actually, I was going to bring it up now if you want it now, but based on Tammy's response earlier, do you not want to do more research and then get the motion passed once you have all the information?
Well, we can do that, but
it's probably better to wait. Then we can have staff come to the next meeting or something because you want to do a bench, right?
Yes.
So yes. Rob, tell everybody so we're all on the same.
We're looking at.
Okay, tell everybody your committee's idea.
Is to create a, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Commemorative, a bench with a commemorative plaque?
Yes, a granite, that's the word I'm looking for. We're looking at a granite bench, which can be produced here in Barrie and suitably engraved and hopefully placed in the area of the military park. So that's the plan. And that was to expend those monies this year and not wait until next year. We may not place it until next year, but we would spend the money this year.
So we need 2 pieces of information, Rob. The first one is Tammy's idea of talking to staff to find out what's possible and whether that site works, et cetera. And the second one is, do we have any dollars attached to this yet? Or is someone researching that?
Sorry, but what was the site? I didn't hear the site.
The military park beside the
On the South Shore.
South Shore, along the South Shore. Yes, my motion was for $2,500 to accomplish this project. It may cost a little more, but we're prepared to pay up the difference if it comes in more expensive. And Tammy, no, I have no problems negotiating with staff and looking at the proper placement before we bring.
Yeah, I would suggest probably more speaking to staff to get a little more information. Then you have a little better idea of what placement and maybe what needs to be done for that to happen. So maybe we can add that on the agenda for next time.
Rob, the other reason I think you benefit from this is it allows you to get a firmer handle on the money, because quite honestly, I don't expect you to. I don't think it's necessarily a requirement that you go fundraise if you're over. Let's go find out what the number is.
Mm-hmm.
And if the committee likes the idea, when we have all the information, we'll vote on the number, right?
Sounds good to me.
All right, good. Sounds good. Which means that I've heard Bill, I think it's Harrigan's turn.
Thank you very much. What we're looking at is an exchange on the rugby front, and we'd be looking at having teams come over here. And I'm going to turn this over to Lou and Rick for their latest. I don't know if they've heard back from their rugby secretary yet or not.
Sadly, we have not heard back from the secretary of the rugby club in Harrogate. And I'm totally prepared to send another email, or we are. But if they do, we are ready. The Barrie Rugby Club is ready to host in their homes. And we're ready to do probably 3 or 4 day trips with them, depending on the amount of time that they've dedicated to stay here.
That's awesome. It's good to know the Barrie Rugby Club's on board. That's great.
Very much so.
Was that through, was Len Day the key on that, or was it just?
Absolutely. You got to have former students.
Got to tell you. You know what? Those of you that don't know him, Len Day has turned into an amazing community guy. All right. And I'm not sure I necessarily saw that when he was in grade 13, but become an amazing guy. So very good. Thank you. Also,
thanks, Lou and Rick.
I'm not sure, Bill, whether everyone needs to know this or not. We've informed the overall Harrogate International Partners Committee, and there was some email, maybe Michael or somebody indicated a willingness to help on that end to kind of shake their tree over at their rugby club. Am I correct, Bill?
Yes, that's correct. Michael Newby is willing to act as an intermediary on our behalf. And I think, once again, he knows the rugby club secretary and his track record. So Lou and Rick, if you want, we can go through Michael just to shake the trees there and see what falls out. Okay.
The other, okay, somebody answered the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. That all sounds good. The next one is Harass. There is great interest on the part of Barrie North, who are about to start or have started their French immersion program and whatever to do some type of student thing. But quite honestly, the Harass changed their personnel just as COVID started. And I've had no response from the new person I was supposed to be working with after Jennifer Mitachi was promoted. So I actually don't know. I mean, I sent the email and an introduction, and I've sent a follow-up, and I've not heard anything. So I may have to go back through Jennifer. Now, we got lots of time on this because, as Jamie pointed out, the board's not exactly keen to approve anything. The principal at North had indicated he thought we would be better off planning this as a 22-23 trip. I've suggested to the teacher that if they wanted to, and this is me stepping out on a limb, but that if she had a group of students that wanted to go over March break next year as if it was a community thing, that we wouldn't need the school approval to run it then if we were keen to go in the spring of 22. But we're a long way away from any of those decisions being made. I'm just letting you know that that's there. And there has been no effort on either our part or their part. On our end, we had decided to try to do the youth one first. on their part, there'd been no effort on this at all in terms of citizen exchanges. So the thought is to start the youth, build the enthusiasm within the community, and then go from there. So it's no surprise that Arras is sort of has the least offer, because it's our first and it never really got off the ground before COVID. So we've all been in a holding pattern, but at least the other groups have at least been in touch, and cool things are at least being contemplated. All right. Is there anything else on my agenda, Tammy?
I did add Sir Robert Burry project update. I didn't know if they had anything on that.
Yes, we've got lots on that one. This has been a busy portfolio in the last little while. I'm not sure how many on the committee know, but thanks to the efforts of Deputy Mayor Barry Ward, we had the 7th of June declared as Sir Robert Barry Day in honor of the city's namesake. It started off that morning with the raising of the Harrogate flag at City Hall by the staff down there. We weren't present because of COVID. But then we went on in the afternoon and we did a Zoom call with the winners of the Sir Robert Barry Poetry Contest. And we had Cassandra Perron win first prize of $100. Levi Taylor won second prize of $50. And Lucas Pinnell won the third prize of $25. And this was open to all the students throughout Barrie in grades 8 and 9. And the winners, exceptional work. So those are on the Sir Robert Barry website. And we've gotten greetings from their current mayor, Trevor Chapman, as well as the mayor who signed the twinning certificate in 2013, 2014 was the Honorable Alderman, Michael Newby. So that is his current title, but he was mayor back in 2013 on the 7th of June when we signed the twinning document at Ripley Castle. So lots of good stuff going on there, and we've got lots of good ideas. I know I want to get together with Lou and Rick and Bunty to talk about the new website and what we can be putting on there. So that's the report for Sir Robert Barry.
Great.
One more thing, if I can just interrupt, Bill, the flag was flying at City Hall as well. You mentioned it was up, and I think it might still be up if anybody goes by City Hall.
Okay, good.
You mentioned it was raised that day, but I think it might still be up. I don't think it's been
super.
Did we ever sort out whether it was the flag of Yorkshire or the flag of Harrogate, or both?
We had both, and we put up the Harrogate flag.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. Tammy, is there anything else on the agenda?
No.
Okay. Is Tammy still with us?
Am.
Okay. Did you go pour a drink or something?
She's gone home. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Does anybody else have anything else?
I do.
Yes.
Going back to spending the reserve and booking some buses.
Yep.
I think I asked you this in an email, Dave. Rather than different individuals phoning the bus company and booking, are we going to do one large booking for everybody concerned, or do you want it to be individual requests?
Well, I don't think it's good. I would say do it by subcommittee rather than by one overall. So one person from Harrogate would call and say, I mean, I can tell you who to ask for if you want, because we have specific people that we've used all the time for global and youth ambassadors, but and they know us, and that's why I think we'll get not only good deals, but they'll be happy to help. What we could say is something like, we're confident we are going to be ordering 4 buses in this month. We don't know the specific dates. Can we put a deposit down, or can we pre-book or whatever, understanding that we have to do the specific dates later and pay now? I don't know. I mean, would it help? Actually, you just led me into a question, Luke. Would it help all the different subcommittees that I've recommended that to if I call the bus company and ask if that's possible first?
Yeah, I think so. Rather than Joe Blow showing up in their mask.
All right. I'll make that call. Am I also correct that all of these groups, although maybe not rugby, like, are we talking coaches for everybody, or are school buses good enough for any of them, or are we doing coaches?
Well, I would say school buses for the shorter trips, but if you're putting in Niagara Falls, a coach.
Okay.
That's long. That's long.
No, that's fine. It just means I have to call 2 different companies because remember, Sittons no longer does coaches, so I've got to call Hammond. That's fine.
Right.
I just wanted to check that out. All right, so I'll make those 2 calls and I'll have that answer for you. I'll probably, because you guys are going to want to work on this, I'll put the answer into an email and I'll also tell you who to contact and how to progress. Make sense?
Perfect. And include what we have to do if we have to give them some money.
Well, then we will have another meeting and approve in advance the same type of expenditures, but we got to get that first, right?
Yes.
My way of looking at it, it's only June. This budget's until the end of December, so we should have lots of time to solve all that. I still don't anticipate having a meeting until September, but if we suddenly have to do something in the summer, then it'll be at the call of the chair, and we'll undoubtedly create another of these very strange Zoom things.
I got one for Bill. We were going to talk about the flags to celebrate all of our cities.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct. And that's the one that I was going to bring up, but you just beat me by a split second, and I wanted to hear what you're going to say first.
Sorry,
okay. I had sent out the quick note today. I had talked with Sherry Harris at City Hall, and she needs at least a month lead time to be able to design those. And what I was looking at was recommending 13 of these flags / banners and putting them up in and around City Hall, the library, and at the bottom of Tiffin Street. Those would be the areas that she thought would work best for us, and that they don't interfere with her spring series or her Remembrance Day series. And she puts up her Remembrance Day series starting around the end of September. So backing that up, if we've got designs and want to get them made up and the funds expended, I would recommend that by the end of August, we actually have some sort of thoughts on what we want to do. And she said the limiting factor with any of the banner designs is to get high resolution pictures. If we actually have pictures of people, castles or whatever it happens to be that you want to put in there. And I'm thinking, we've got a very high pixel of Sir Robert Barry. And once again, it does very clear images, up to 40 feet high. So, that picture is good to go, and we'll just crop out the one that we want. But I'm thinking, Zweibrücken, Arras, Murayama, and also Harrogate. And we would do, say, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 1 sort of thing, and the 1 being Sir Robert Barry.
That makes sense.
That would be my proposal. But if we can get some ideas, sketch them out, start thinking about them. Sherry said we can use her resources as far as the graphic arts are concerned for designing those and making sure that they can come up with the designs for getting those produced. And I'm assuming we would need that money spent and the goods delivered by the 31st of December.
Maury, I know
Yeah.
you can't see me. I'm sitting here with my hand.
I can see you. I don't
Okay.
know why
So
people,
I was
but-
just going to suggest that whatever we design for the flag might be good for the website, and we might want to see if our new website guy wants to kind of take some of this on.
And I'll leave it to the individual subcommittees to lay that out to him, because he's very big on creating galleries for each of these and
Right.
videos
So
available, all that kind of stuff.
It might be a good partnering job, and then whatever images he creates for the flags, he can incorporate into the website.
Mastrioni from IT has been fantastic. I mean, he's working with Kieran, and it's actually, and I mean, Kieran's doing like real coding. All right, he's not doing like one of those Weebix things. He's actually making doing it all the way John wants it done. So it's all cool. Bill, by total fluke, I talked to Sherry a couple hours ago. She called me in a dither because, by the way, she says you're a wonderful man, and she loves me. So there you are. Sherry's a former student of mine, and she was all in embarrassed and calling me upset. Apparently, I had left a bunch of voicemails with her over a period of time, and she hadn't responded to any of them. So I've been sitting around for months waiting to hear from her. And so she was just beside herself that somehow she hadn't received them and all the rest of her routine. So that's why she was calling me. And while I had her on the phone, two things I think that I think you may already know, but I just think I'll add for people. if we combine our putting up of these banners into the same time frame as hers, even if though like going to the places you suggested, but at the same time frame as when she does hers, the Remembrance Day in the fall, whatever, the costs of putting them up, she'll pay for that. But
Yes,
if
she
you
will.
decide, but if you decide, or if we decide that we want to put it at some other date, then she doesn't have a budget for that, so we're on our own. So I would assume that we would simply piggyback on the 2 times that she's got.
I would look at the spring series that she does, and
Right.
then they're up there for the whole summer. And if we do get visitors from any of our partnership cities, they're up there and they can go, oh, look, Zweibrücken and Muriama, or whatever they need to point out. Yeah.
Perfect. The other one that she suggested, which I think is great. Remember, you and I talked about it, and we didn't want to interfere, but I had suggested that we should have at least, given the whole background of sister cities and why they were invented the way they were right after the war, having friends to make peace. I had asked her, I suggested to you, I mentioned it to you, and at any rate, I mentioned it to her as well. She's fine working with us to incorporate one of each of the banners in and around the Remembrance Day activities. Now, how that would work and exactly we'll have to work with her on, because she doesn't actually put banners near the cenotaph because somebody thought it was disrespectful. I'm not quite sure why, but anyway, we can work on that with her. She's amenable to the idea. That's all. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And what we had talked about was Harrogate being the home of number 6 RCAF Bomber Group headquarters. So there's one for Harrogate, and we'd have to work on our images with that one. But the other one, Vimy Ridge for Arras, and then I'm sure we can get other non-offensive ones for Japan and Germany. And when I say that, are there images within Zweibrücken and Muriama that would be appropriate for a remembrance time, if you want to call it that?
Well, the Schloss.
Yeah, just something to think about. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, David.
All right, no problem. All right, folks, any other questions or comments about anything and everything? All right, not hearing any. Tammy, have I left anything out? She's gone to pour her next drink.
Can't hear you either, Tammy.
You're not coming through to me. I don't know what's wrong.
Hear me now?
I can see her.
There you are. Now you're
We
good.
can all see her.
I can't. All
I
right,
know.
Well, the
We're
rest
about
of us
to
can,
go-
Dave, so we're fine.
Thank you very much. Rob is sitting here fixing my computer, or pretending to. So
You need
we'll
a
see how
better
that
IT department.
He's my IT and my rail builder. All right.
Is the railing done yet?
Oh, shut up. You're getting a railing. All right. Thank you very much, people. I greatly appreciate all that you have done in terms of taking time in your busy schedule. Appreciate all of that. Tammy, if there's any problems, give me a call. Otherwise, we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. Bye, Bonds.
Everybody.
Stay safe.